I've been modeling locally, acting for student films, learning Japanese, live streaming study streams, and building this YouTube channel. There's more projects I want to do, and I find myself always strapped for time. I was addicted to cheap dopamine and struggled to quit. I watched this YouTube video about willpower being for losers, basically saying people with less desires don't need willpower. I took that idea and created an environment with few desires and lots of boredom. Okay, so my biggest desires come from my smartphone. Here's my smartphone. I've done the whole delete everything off your phone. I've also tried keeping a few apps and doing time limits, but for some reason I would always fail. A month ago I reinstalled Instagram, and that has been my biggest time waster. I also watch YouTube on my iPad and laptop a lot when I get bored, so I deleted those apps off my devices. I kind of just disabled YouTube on here. Well, I didn't disable it, but I just turned on distraction-free YouTube, so nothing really shows up. I also made Safari super annoying to get to on my iPhone while making it a time limit of 1 minute. So I have to swipe all the way to the right, open it, and I can only use it for 1 minute really. I didn't disable it because sometimes I Google stuff at the store or need it for certain things, but you can also get a Safari extension that blocks images or videos. And now that I think about it, I could also just use AI or text-based things to do research instead of Safari. I made my phone ugly with grayscale and limiting the FPS. That's why it looks so laggy and slow. I also have night shift mode on. That's why it's kind of this orange-ish tint. It just basically is infinitely on. I made it so where I cannot search apps when I swipe down. I have a few apps enabled, but it doesn't suggest anything, and I can't just search Safari and get to it easily. I have to swipe all the way to the right. My iPad is mostly the same, but I disabled Safari and use Orion because it has Chromium extensions. I may use this on my phone as well. And I keep this because I like to watch YouTube videos for working out. In the past, when I would delete all the apps on my devices, I would do good for a while and then I would always relapse. I never really understood this until I started journaling a ton more. So I would journal in these notebooks. Every day I would write 3 pages straight, and I've been doing it for the past 199 days. This has really helped me understand what's been on my mind and live more in the present. I recently switched to doing this on my iPad instead because I just finished this journal and I just wanted to try it on the iPad, and I've been using this app called GoodNotes. I also use it for Japanese, just scratch paper, but I would just write. Every day I would write on here. You can write, I have a matte screen protector, so it makes it feel as close as you can to paper. And I'll just write for 3 pages and then start a new day. It's also super nice because you don't have to bring a ton of notebooks and stuff when traveling. And I do this over typing because I like the feeling of writing and the feedback I get with a pencil type of thing. And the iPad can mimic that just enough for me. So for me, journaling helped me realize I need to fill the extra time I've created through quitting a bunch of social media at once. So I made it easy to read anywhere. I have e-ink devices are all around me. I have books around me. I have access to my same books I'm reading on here through Kindle. It will sync up across all my devices. I made it easy to study Japanese, can study Japanese on here, on my computer, on my phone, on my iPad. And I made it easy to organize and do any other interests through all the apps I use. So I mostly use Things 3 and Obsidian as my 2 biggest organizers. Things 3 for quick tasks and projects. I really like the organization you can do within Things 3 because I've used simple to-do apps like Apple Notes or physical notebooks, but for me, the syncing of to-do lists across all my devices is nice. I have a big list of general to-dos in my inbox. I move to-dos to certain dates if they're time-bound. I also have sections for projects. The project section is more like a tracker of what to do. I also create a project page in Obsidian. Obsidian, I just use folders or sections that I care about. I also use a template for daily notes or long-form writing. So I use the GTD method. Basically, the brain is meant for having ideas and not holding them. So bear with me, this is the brain. And so the brain will have all these ideas and it'll create a ton of ideas, but it's not really built to store the ideas because the more we have, the more brain power it takes to hold them. So with this in mind, we take the ideas and we go and store them externally. And in my method, I'm using Obsidian and Things 3. So with this theory, I end up writing everything down, even if I never end up using or doing it, because the point is to offload as much of the brain as possible. I'll make it extremely easy to capture things through shortcuts on all my devices. If I'm on the go, it'll just go in my inbox in Things 3, or my quick notes folder in Obsidian. Later, I make sure to put it in an organized space. This is how I would loosely follow the GTD method. For me, it's fairly intuitive with the softwares that I use, but I could work on clarifying tasks better. As someone with ADHD, this system empties my head and creates actionable plans based on the ideas I have.
So, I was pretty terrible at school. I cheated, I didn't study, and just got by. I got into a corporate job, and on paper, my life was good. I'm blessed to be in a situation where I could quit that job because I never understood what I wanted to do with my life until I wasn't living a life I wanted. After quitting, I tried to make it on YouTube. I failed pretty bad and quit. I tried Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Substack, and so many things. I kept failing and came back to YouTube. For me, YouTube has been a big part of my life. I want to help people on the platform that has helped me. Spirituality plays a pretty big role in my life. Without it, I feel lost and disconnected with my purpose. For me, it's like constantly listening to how you're supposed to live your life. The more you connect with it, the more you align yourself in the right place in this world. I like the way Naval Ravikant talks about trying to be yourself fully, because no one can compete with someone who is being their absolute authentic selves. So I strive to understand myself better and share what works for me. In the past, I struggled with addiction. I quit when things got hard or the results took too long. I felt directionless most of my life. I've been reading this book, The Comfort Crisis, and one point talks about misogis. Basically a challenge unique to you that you have a 50-50 chance of succeeding or failing. It's meant to push you to your limit, and if you succeed, you come out a different person. For me, doing things like modeling and acting make me super uncomfortable. I struggle with perfectionism and expressing myself. These arts help push me to grow. I've also been running more, which is something I've never been good at, and ran a couple 10Ks for the first time this year. Creating this YouTube channel has been my biggest misogi. I can't cheat on it, I can't half-ass it, I can't just quit, because I feel like I'm called to help people with my art. It's something that constantly pushes me to be a better leader. Nowadays, tech companies work to make you use their devices and stay on their apps as long as possible. It's not our faults we get addicted to these devices. They're designed to keep us hooked. It's evil, but to anyone who struggles with their usage, it's okay. Because I've struggled so many times going back and forth. I'm in a good space nowadays, and I'm excited to grow. Thank you to those who watch this. I want to create a space of shared growth. I also want to document my journey and keep myself accountable.
So like I said, I have many projects that I want to do. I want to challenge myself more physically. I want to get a minivan for a project. So please consider joining my Patreon so I can share that endeavor with y'all. I want to do something involved in writing. And I'm keeping all of these things vague so I can share them with y'all when I do them. Anyways, take care of yourselves. I'll see y'all in the next one. Gianni.